Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here and you like pond builds or anything to do with koi, be sure to hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on any future content. And if you're returning, welcome back. So something a little bit different on this video. I'm still waiting for a couple of bits so I can do my upgrades to my moving bed filter. I'm still in the planning stage for my fish house and grow on pond and quarantine pond. So I'm going to take this opportunity just to do a quick short video giving my top tips on when you're building a koi pond. But before that, just a quick reminder, I've still got my 1000 subscriber giveaway ongoing. So if you missed that video, take a look. I'll put a card up either here or here, whichever side it comes up now. Yeah, but I've got my 1000 subscriber giveaway live at the moment. It's going to run for another week, so if you haven't already checked that out, then be sure to do so. So apologies if you're a seasoned koi pond builder, this video may not be for you, but yeah, I just want to give my input to those that might be building their first koi ponds, or those who are a little bit unsure as to what they need to look out for. So yeah, we'll crack on straight to it and see what my top tips are. Right guys, so it's a fine day today, fine spring day. A lot of you, or some of you, are probably going to be cracking on with a pond build in the very near future. So I thought I'd share with you my top tips from what I learnt when I built this one, which wasn't my first pond, second one at this house. So yeah, let's share some tips with you. First one is planning and budget. One thing I can recommend, really important, is to plan the life out of your pond build. Everything from how many blocks you're going to need, to positioning, to size of the pond. Looking at positioning of the pond. Now my pond here, I'll show you now. I'll come out of my house onto the decking and I get a great overview of the pond. So it's great to view the koi from above. I've also positioned it opposite where I've built my patio. Still need to finish the patio, but once that's done, I get some nice garden furniture and I can view the koi viewing window from the patio. It's no good having a pond, you know, at the bottom of your garden in the corner where you're not going to be able to appreciate it. You want it somewhere where it's going to be a focal point. One other thing with regards to positioning is things like whether it's going to be in direct sunlight, whether it's going to be underneath trees. You really don't want it in direct sunlight all day, especially if we have a hot summer. Koi can get sunburn, so it is nice for them to have a bit of shade. So if you haven't got a natural shade above your koi pond, such as trees, think about maybe putting plants in there. I'm not a big fan of plants. It's just one more thing that you have to deal with regards to the breakdown of the organic matter being in your pond, creating extra waste. I've got mine in the ideal position. I get about 4 or 5 hours of direct sunlight a day. Plus, as you can see, I've got the roof as well. So yeah, all in all, plan your positioning, plan your pond build, and that's a good place to start. Going back to the size, one thing again I can recommend is go big. Go as big as you can afford to go, and as big as the space that you've got allows you to. My first pond I think was 3,000 litres, way too small for koi. Once you start getting a few koi in there, they start growing. They're soon going to outgrow that 3,000 litre pond. So the second pond that I built, 10,000 litres, ideal really for what I need it for. One thing you have got to bear in mind as well when you're looking at size is that if you ever need to treat the pond for parasites, flukes, etc., the bigger your pond is, the more expensive it's going to be to treat. I've just had to treat my 10,000 litre and this small 2,000 litre quarantine and it's just cost me £50. So if you had a 20,000 litre pond, you know, you're looking close to £100 to treat that for a flute treatment. So yeah, bear that in mind. But yeah, go as big as you can, because once you start putting koi in there, it gets a little bit addictive and you'll want to put more koi in there. So yeah, definitely give that a thought. Next thing to consider is what you're going to line your pond with. There's a couple of options out there. Obviously the just a bog standard pond liner. You've got a box rolled liner, or you've got the top dog, which is fiberglass. 100% go fiberglass if you can afford it, if your budget stretches that far. It's by far the most popular and most preferred way to line your pond. A smooth finish, you've got no creases. You know, when you put a bog standard liner in and start folding it in, one thing you've got to bear in mind is that under all those little creases, you're going to get nasties hiding, bad bacteria, food, fish waste. It's highly recommended not to have a folded liner inside your pond if you can help it. If you can't afford to go fiberglass, a little bit cheaper option is the box rolled liner, a liner that's made to measure for your pond. That's definitely the second option to fiberglass. Or if you haven't got a perfectly square pond like I haven't, you can do the option I tried out last summer, and that's to actually join your EPDM liner inside your pond. It's definitely worked out for me. I've got no creases in there. I've moulded it to the shape of the pond, and yeah, it was a trial that I did and it's worked out. So yeah, definitely worth thinking about what you're going to line your pond with. Right, next thing to look at is whether you're going to go gravity fed or pump fed system. By far the most popular option is gravity fed, and the benefit of this over pump fed is that the water and waste from your pond feeds directly into your filter before it goes into a pump. Whereas if you are pump fed, you have to have a pump sat in your pond. What that does, it churns up all the waste and then throws it into your filter, so your filter's having to deal with smaller particles of fish waste. Obviously with gravity fed, these bigger particles go directly to your filter, so your filters are going to find it a lot easier to filter out the waste. So yeah, if you can go for gravity fed, that's definitely worth doing. Sticking with filtration, bottom drains. 100% budget for a bottom drain, or 2 bottom drains if your pond's big. My first pond, I didn't have a bottom drain at all, and I always got a build up of muck, and I had to go in with the pond back or sweep it out into the filter. Bottom drains work an absolute treat. My pond's been running close to a year now. If I have a look at the floor of the pond, absolutely no waste at all. I've got a spin drip the bottom drain in there, and it works a treat of pulling the waste in. If you are going pump fed, the other option for you is to have a retrofit bottom drain. It's literally a bottom drain that just sits on the bottom of your pond and connects directly to your pump. I had one of those on the old pond, and that definitely made the pond and the filtration a lot better. So yeah, if you can't have a fitted bottom drain, definitely look at getting a retrofit bottom drain. Next up, and sticking with filtration, is the actual filter that you're going to have running on your pond. There's loads of options out there, loads of options. You've got things like easy pods, you've got nexuses, or you've got drum filters if your budget can afford it. I did stretch out for a drum filter on my pond. One of the main reasons is because I'm not always around to be cleaning out filters, so self-cleaning drum filter definitely works for me. If your budget doesn't stretch that far, you definitely want to look at nexuses or the Evolution Aqua easy pods. You can never have too much filtration. I was speaking to a subscriber called Steve. He came down last week to pick up a pond feeder that I sold him. I was talking to him about his pond. He's got 6,500 litre pond, and running on that, he's got a Nexus 220 and 5 easy pods, and a Tempest. just to finish it off. You can never have too much filtration. He is heavily stocked, he told me, but he's also got gin clear water, so definitely don't skimp when it comes to pond filters. Also, things like pressure filters and box filters, try and stay away from them. If the place that's selling you these filters says that it's good for 10,000 litres, you want to knock that down to a quarter. They're well overrated for what they are, and you will end up regretting it. So personally, start looking at Evolution for Easy Pods, or even if you've got the space, the Nexus, and if you've got the budget, go for a drum. And while we're on the subject of filtration, don't be scared to go second hand. Things like Easy Pods and Nexuses, they're basically just moulded plastic with a few pipes in them. You'll get years worth of service out of there. If you can pick up a second hand Easy Pod for 200, even 150, you've got yourself a bargain. So you don't have to go out and buy brand new kit. Easy Pods, Nexuses, definitely look at getting one second hand, you won't regret it. Still on the subject of filters, you may want to consider DIY filters. There's a 3-barrel DIY pond filter system that a lot of people tend to have, and I've had a lot of success with. So don't be scared to look down the DIY route. Definitely be a lot more economical, a lot more budget friendly. Shower filters as well. Many people make their own budgets, DIY shower filters. So yeah, definitely consider, if your budget can't stretch for filtration, definitely look at the DIY option. Next up is viewing windows. If you're having a raised pond like mine, definitely consider putting a viewing window in there. Not only is it wicked looking at the koi from the patio through the viewing window of the summer, it's also got some benefits to it. You have the opportunity to look at the koi from side on view, whereas if you haven't got a window, you're only viewing the koi from above. When the fish are swimming by the window, you can have a check over them, make sure they've got nothing wrong with them. So yeah, having a viewing window isn't all about viewing the koi for pleasure, it's about checking up on them as well. You're going to have to get them out the pond less with a viewing window. So yeah, definitely consider getting a viewing window. You don't have to go mad and get a massive one. They do cost a bit of money, but yeah, in my opinion, viewing windows are well worth the money. Next up, jump guards. If you've got a raised pond, raised blockwork pond, definitely want to consider getting jump guards. Bigger fish, not so much a problem, but smaller fish, I've had 2 or 3 jump out before I had jump guards fitted. And yeah, if I'd had jump guards, obviously it would have bounced straight back into the pond. They don't have to be expensive. Again, I've got these budget ones on there at the moment. I am changing them this year for glass jump guards. But yeah, definitely worth getting if you've got a viewing window and a raised pond, because you are going to get jumpers. So 100% you need to budget in for some jump guards. Okay, so those are pretty much the basics covered. Now you've got your pond built, you want to stock it gradually. Don't get dumping a load of fish in there. 10, 15 fish getting up to the maximum. It's only going to cause you problems. You are going to get new pond syndrome once you filled it full of water and start putting fish in there. So you want to get over that first. You know, introduce them gradually, 2 or 3 fish at a time. Make sure your filters can cope. Constantly test your water parameters. And you'll do fine. There's no rush. Your pond and your fish will definitely benefit from stocking gradually. Like I say, 1 or 2 at a time. Don't go too mad. Test your water regularly, and eventually you'll have a pond full of beautiful koi. So that's it. Pretty much my top tips for building a koi pond. Sure to check out next week's video, because I'm going to be looking at some other top tips on how to continue to run a successful koi pond, as well as some things that are going to save you some money. So everyone that's already got the ponds built, tune in for that one, because yeah, I've got a couple of ideas that can definitely save you some money on your energy bills. Right, that's it for this one. Hopefully if you are building your first koi pond or expanding on your expanding your koi pond to make it a bigger one, then those top tips will hopefully give you something to go by. Right, next week's video is going to be, once you've built your koi pond, it's going to be top tips on how to successfully maintain a successful koi pond. So hopefully you'll be back for that one. Right, we'll leave it there for this one, and thanks for watching.